We are live.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as you are able and join me in the welcoming of City Council and the playing of the national anthem and the reading of the invocation.
Would you please remain standing as you're able for the reading of the invocation? As we come together today, we recognize the great responsibilities laid upon us. Our council will always strive to understand the needs of the people we serve and to use power wisely and well. Our purpose is to establish and maintain a city of prosperity and righteousness where freedom prevails and where justice rules. Let us also not forget those who served our community, who are no longer with us, so we continue to do the work that we must in their memory. Please be seated. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councillor Van Tilborg.
Here.
Councillor Sluss.
Present.
Councillor Sullivan.
Present.
Councillor Samwell.
Present.
Councillor Hunt.
Present.
Councillor Caputo.
Present.
Councillor Sicoli.
Here.
Councillor McCreary.
Here.
I believe Councillor Martin's virtually attending. I'll just note when he comes in, and Mayor Davis.
I'm here.
Thank you. Roll call's been taken.
Thank you. Does anybody have a pecuniary interest they need to declare regarding any item on tonight's agenda? I think Councillor Sicoli, you do.
Yes, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't know what number it is.
12.2, appointment of members of council to various committees.
You got it, and I've declared a conflict because that's regarding an association to which I am a member.
Any other conflicts anybody needs to declare? Seeing none. So prior to hearing who wants what separated, we do have three items separated. One is 12.1.11. That's the alleviating downtown garbage concerns. There's an amendment. 12.2.1. That's the appointment of members of council, various committees, task forces, and boards because of Councillor Sicoli's conflict. And that'll also apply to bylaw 30/2024. And 12.6.1, which is the review of chapter 327, taxi licensing and other vehicles of hire. There is an amendment. Does anybody else want anything separated for discussion purposes? Councillor Caputo?
Just to reiterate, with 12.614 being separated with that as well? As an urgent?
Yeah, there's an amendment on that. Right? Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so through the chair, instead of separating all three resolutions that weren't deemed urgent, what I'm recommending is that when the motion on the floor to approve all items not separated, that a member of council make an amendment to deem those three items urgent.
Unless you want one of them separated for discussion. Yeah. Okay, so, no, all right. So Councillor McCurry, can you please move the motion then to approve all items not separated for discussion purposes?
Yes, I will, Mayor. Moved by me, seconded by Councillor Sullivan, that all items contained within the reports 12:1 to 6, not separated for discussion purposes, be approved.
Yeah, can I have that amendment then, in respect to those three resolutions? I think you have that, you know, Councillor Salmon.
Sure. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Caputo that the Committee of the Whole Planning and Administration report be amended, deeming that items 12.6, 12.6.12, 12.6.13, and 12.6.14 be declared urgent.
Second by Councillor Caputo. Any discussion? That's because we forgot to do that when these were dealt with at COW. Okay. All right, we'll take the vote on that.
It will be yes.
The amendment to deem those three items urgent carries unanimously with the required 2/3 vote. Members of council vote in favor are as follows. Councillor Sokoli, Sullivan, Caputo, Sless, Martin, McCreary, Hunt, Samuel, Van Tilburg, and Mayor Davis.
Mr. Clerk, before we take the vote, would you please read the title of the items we're voting on?
Through the chair, the following items are subject to the vote. So we'll start with the Committee of the Whole Operations Report from the March 5th meeting. Item 12.11, adopt development application fees review and development front-end funding and reimbursement policy. 12.12, building safer communities 2024-2026 action plan. 12.13, Brantford Transit moving forward interim report. 12.14, changes to the solid waste collection routes and collection days. 12.15, Healthy Kids Action Plan. 12.16, Intimate Partner and Gender-Based Violence Community Action Plan. 12.17, Master Servicing Plan Update, Non-Competitive Procurement. 12.18, 2023 Annual Summary Report for the City of Brantford Wastewater System. 12.19, 2023 Annual Summary Report for the City of Brantford Water System. 12.10, Disposable of cigarette butts. 12.12, accessible parking space. 12, Galemont Crescent. From the Appointments Committee report of the March 5th meeting. 12.22, appointment of citizen members to various committees, task forces, and boards. 12.23, appointment of liaison members to various committees, task forces, and boards. From the Social Services Committee of the March 6th meeting. 12.31, the City of Brantford Encampment Network Housing Bylaw Pilot Program Evaluation. 12.32, 174 Trillium Way Capital Budget Amendment. 12.33, Housing Support Worker Pilot Program. 12.34, Live Well Brantford Brant 2023 Annual Report. From the Finance Committee report of the March 6th meeting. 12.41, Quarterly Reserve and Reserve Fund Update. 12.42, Fourth Quarter Casino Fund Update. 12.43, Under Air and Expense Report for 2023. 12.4, Mileage Reimbursement Rate for 2024. 12.45, Quarterly Status of Report of Contracts Awarded. From the Planning Committee report of the March 7th meeting, 12.51, Official Plan Amendment OP 0523, Zoning Bylaw Amendment PZ 20-23 for 107 St. Clair Boulevard. 12.52, Gillespie Drive Road Dedication Bylaw. From the Committee of the Whole Planning and Administration meeting of the March 19th meeting. 12.62, Economic Development, Tourism, and Cultural Initiatives Advisory Committee report. 12.63, Major Sports Liaison Committee report. 12.64, Bylaw Restrictions for Copper and Metal Theft Occurrences. 12.65, Non-Competitive Procurement for 2024-2025 Corporate Insurance Policy. 12.66, Delegation of Authority, Municipally Significant Events. 12.67, Brantford Accessibility Plan 2023 Status Update. 12.68, 2023 Council and Committee Attendance Report. 12.69, People Master Plan Status Update. 12.610, Downtown Community Improvement Plan and Greyfields Community Improvement Plan Status Update. 12.611, thank you. Streamlining Development Approval Fund, final report, 12/6/12, Mayor Honorarium Redirection, 2023-2024, 12/6/13, Home Heating Sustainability, 12/6/14, Polish Hall, and 12/6/15, renaming of Longboat Run.
Yes.
All items not separated for discussion purposes carries unanimously on a recorded vote. Members of council vote in favor as follows: Councillor Sokoli, Sullivan, Caputo, Celeste, Martin, McCreary, Hunt, Samuel, Van Tilburg, and Mayor Davis.
So we have no statutory public hearings. There are no recognitions of achievement for tonight, but we do have 6 proclamations on tonight's agenda. Councillor Celeste, would you please move all the proclamations, state your seconder, and then you can go proceed to read proclamation 8.1.
Could I get it put on the screen, Mr. Clerk, please? Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McCreary, that the following proclamations be approved. Firstly, National Volunteer Week. Secondly, Transgender Day of Visibility. 8.3, Autism Awareness Month. 8.4, Earth Week. 8.5, Youth Sport Week. And 8.5, Sikh Heritage Month, April 2024.
And if you can read 8.1, the National Volunteer Week.
Moved by myself, seconded by my ward mate, Councillor Caputo. Whereas the Brantford Regional Chamber Association of Volunteer Administrators, BRAVA, wishes to bring recognition to and encouragement of citizens' participation in National Volunteer Week, taking place in 2024 between April 14th through the 20th. And whereas Volunteer Canada has declared this year's theme for National Volunteer Week as Every Moment Matters. And whereas this theme highlights the importance of every volunteer and each contribution they make at a time when we need support more than ever. The sharing of time, skills, empathy, and creativity is vital to the inclusivity, strength, and well-being of our communities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the City of Brantford hereby proclaims the week of April 14th through the 20th as Volunteer Week and celebrate the value of our community volunteers.
And Councillor Sullivan, Councillor Scully, if you could read proclamation 8.2.
Happily. Item 8.2, Transgender Day of Visibility, March 31st, 2024. Whereas March 31st is International Transgender Day of Visibility, and whereas the Bridge and Brantford Pride Committees invites all individuals to join together to make our local community a diverse, safe, and proud city. And whereas inclusiveness is embraced by the community to support the physical, mental, spiritual, and social well-being of all its members, including the Two-Spirit, transgender, and gender diverse communities. And whereas there is a need to recognize that a community is made up of many diverse and unique groups, and that equity means a better life for all. And whereas the Two-Spirit, transgender, and gender diverse communities would like to annually observe this day as they and their allies strive to create a healthy and safe environment now and in the future. And whereas the exterior lights at City Hall will be illuminated in pink on March 31st, and the flag will fly from March 28th to April 2nd in recognition of International Transgender Day of Visibility. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the City of Brantford does hereby proclaim March 31st, 2024 as Transgender Day of Visibility in the City of Brantford.
And Councillor Sullivan, if you'd read 8.3.
Thank you. Whereas autism is a complex, lifelong neurodevelopment disorder that typically appears during early childhood and may impact a person's social skills, communication, relationship, and self-regulation. And whereas autism is defined by a certain set of behaviors and is a spectrum condition that affects every individual's strengths and needs differently and to varying degrees. And whereas there is no known single cause of autism, and whereas early diagnosis helps a person receive the support and services that will support across the lifespan, which can lead to an improved quality of life and participation within their community. And whereas in recognition of this month, members of the community will be invited to join Mayor Davis at Harmony Square on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024 at 1 p.m. as he raises the autism awareness flag. The box is in the way. And lights Harmony Square and City Hall with the lights of the spectrum for one full week to promote awareness and acceptance, to acknowledge and honor the many Brantford families and organizations that support individuals and families who are impacted by autism. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the City of Brantford hereby proclaims the month of April 2024 as Autism Awareness Month in the City of Brantford.
Councillor Caputo, if you please read proclamation 8.4.
Absolutely. Earth Week, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Sluss. Whereas the first Earth Day was celebrated in 1970 with the goal of inspiring environmental awareness and encouraging the conversation, protection, and appreciation of our nation's natural resources. And whereas Earth Day is a historical event that takes place around the world on April 22nd every year, and this year will be the 54th anniversary. And whereas Earth Day is now a global event that allows citizens to come together to raise awareness of the importance of protecting the planet and its natural resources and reducing dependence on non-renewable resources. And whereas Earth Day has evolved into a week-long event to provide education and outreach beyond one day. And whereas the IPCC's 2018 special report on global warming indicates an urgent need to limit the increase in the global mean surface temperature from pre-industrial levels to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And whereas climate change represents the greatest challenge to the future of humanity and the life support systems that make our world habitable, and whereas the City of Brantford declared a climate energy emergency in 2019. Whereas the steps we take to protect and preserve our natural environment through education, partnerships, and positive actions should be encouraged in the City of Brantford. And whereas the City of Brantford joined cities worldwide to proclaim the hour between 8:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. local time on Saturday, March 23rd, 2024 to be Earth Hour. And whereas in honor of Earth Week and to demonstrate commitment to the protection of our environment, the City of Brantford will be hosting the annual Clean Brantford Litter Pickup event on April 21st and April 22nd, 2024. And whereas exterior lights at City Hall will be illuminated green between April 21st and 27th. Now therefore let it be resolved that the City of Brantford City Council hereby proclaims the week of April 21st to 27th, 2024 as Earth Week in the City of Brantford.
And Councillor McCurry, if you could read proclamation 8.5.
I will, Mayor. Thank you. Whereas the Brantford Sports Council is an organization that promotes the development and delivery of youth sports in our community, advocates for local sport organizations, and promote sports tourism, a community partnership dedicated to the betterment of sport in Brantford. And whereas the Brantford Sports Council works to build quality community support, recreation, and physical activity with our youth sports groups and other collaborative relationships. A collaboration of 22 youth sport organizations that work cooperatively in providing a collective voice for the ongoing development, education, and promotion of the benefits of sport in our community. And whereas thousands of children are registered annually in a variety of youth sport programming in the City of Brantford each year. And whereas the youth sport organizations are supported by community residents who volunteer countless hours of their time in support of youth sport development in our city. And whereas the sport community in the City of Brantford remains positive, vibrant, and excited about the future of sport, and the focus remains on the future in building strong grassroots programs for all to participate while developing the social and physical skills throughout their sports journey. And whereas in recognition of the week, a number of members and community partners from the sport community joined Mayor Kevin Davis at Harmony Square Saturday, April the 6th at 10 a.m. to raise the flag to promote youth sport in Brantford and to acknowledge and honor the many volunteers that support the sport programming offered in our community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the City of Brantford hereby proclaims that April 6th through 14 2024 be declared Youth Sport Appreciation Week in the city of Brantford.
Thank you. The last proclamation came in late, so I will read it as proclamation 8.6 and is as follows. Whereas Sikhism is a religion founded in the Punjab region of South Asia by Guru Nanak Sahib Ji, who laid the foundation for a distinct and unique monotheistic faith based on the principles of equality, freedom, and justice for all humanity. And whereas Sikh Canadians have lived in Ontario since the middle of the 20th century and represent a growing and dynamic population, have made significant contributions to the growth and the prosperity of Ontario. And whereas Sikhs are known for their bravery, in World War I, over 1 million soldiers served overseas in the British Army and 75,000 never made it home. In World War II, Sikh units of the Indian and Commonwealth forces served under Allied command alongside or in cooperation with the American forces and earned a reputation of bravery, and more than 88,000 lives were taken and 109,000 wounded. And whereas Brantford is rapidly becoming more ethnically and culturally diverse, and as of 2021, more than 10% of Brantford residents have a first language other than English or French, and 36% of newcomers to our city originate from South Asia. And whereas 2020, the Brantford Immigration Partnership was established to create a more inclusive community representative of the broad diversity of cultural experiences of all residents of Brantford. And whereas throughout the month of April, Sikhs all around Canada and the world celebrate Vaisakhi, known as Khalsa Day, on April 12th, signifying the creation of the Khalsa and the Sikh Articles of Faith. And whereas the month of April was proclaimed as Sikh Heritage Month by the Legislature of Ontario in 2013, Bill 52, and whereas by proclaiming the month of April as Sikh Heritage Month, the City of Brantford recognizes the important contributions that Sikh Canadians have made to Brantford's social, economic, political, and cultural fabric. And whereas Sikh Heritage Month is an opportunity to remember, celebrate, and educate future generations about Sikh Canadians and the important role they have played and continue to play in Canada and in communities across Ontario and specifically in Brantford. Now therefore be it resolved, the Council of the Corporation of Brantford hereby proclaims the month of April 2024 as Sikh Heritage Month in the city of Brantford, and encourage citizens of our community to recognize and celebrate the contributions of Sikh Canadians. So with that, I'll close it off, and if you could take the vote, please, Mr. Clerk.
The approval of all proclamations carries and recorded vote of 10-0. Members of council voting in favor are as follows: Councillors Sullivan, Celeste McCreary, Hunt Van Tilburg, Samuel, Martin, Caputo, Sokoli, and Mayor Davis.
Right, so we have no delegations for this evening. So we'll move on to the clerk's report of communications. Councillor Hunt, I believe you have that resolution.
I do. So moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Samwell, that the clerk's report on communications for March 2024 be received.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
The clerk's report on communication carries unanimously and recorded vote of 10-0. Members of council voting in favor are as follows: Councillors Sullivan, Celeste McCreary, Hunt, Van Tilburg, Samuel, Martin, Caputo, Sokoli, and Mayor Davis.
Councillor Caputo, would you please move the motion to adopt the minutes listed in the agenda and state your seconder?
Absolutely. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Sluss, that the following minutes be adopted: 11-1, Special City Council, February 20th, 11-2, City Council, February 27th, 11-3, Special City Council, March the 5th, 11-4, Special City Council, Private and Confidential, March 5th, 11-5, John Noble Home Committee of Management, March 13th, and 11-6, John Noble Home Committee of Management, Private Confidential, March 13th.
All right, any errors or omissions on the council minutes? Seeing none, I'll take the vote.
The minutes carried and recorded vote of 10-0. Members of council voting in favor are as follows: Councillors Sullivan, Celeste McCreary, Hunt Van Tilburg, Samuel, Martin, Caputo, Sokoli, Mayor Davis.
All right, Councillor Sam, if you please read the motion to place the three separated items from the committee reports on the floor.
Moved by myself and seconded by Counselor Van Tilburg that all items in the committee reports, items 12.1 to 12.6 separated for discussion purposes be approved.
All right, so we'll deal first with 12.1.11. And that is an amendment that I would like to make. So Councillor Sullivan, do you mind taking the floor to take my amendment?
Gladly. Go ahead.
All right, so this is in reference to the measures being taken to alleviate concerns regarding downtown garbage collection. And the amendment is that clauses B and C be replaced with the following. And I'm looking for a seconder, Councilor Samwell, that the installation and operation of drop-off bins be approved at municipal lot number 4 located at the intersection of Dalhousie Street and King Street for downtown core businesses and residents to dispose of curbside garbage, recyclable and organic materials at any time, including Sundays. 2, that funding of $45,000 for the installation of underground drop-off bins with a concrete pad, enhanced lighting and security camera as needed be approved from the Council Priority Reserve Fund RF 0558 in 2024. And if I may, Councillor Sullivan, so this came out of the resolution that we discussed several weeks ago. The original concept for a drop off at any time of the day or night was an above ground bin at the same parking lot next to the old expositor building. And it was going to be a garbage bin surrounded by wooden fencing, and it would be locked with a code that only businesses downtown would have. And so after the committee of the whole meeting, there were a number of concerns raised about that why not? Why won't residents be able to use that? And so this is a different concept. It's still a drop-off concept, and it'll be a bin, a Molonock is what it's called. It's actually set into the ground and won't require it to be fenced or roped off. It won't require code to use it. Anyone can use it, preferably downtown residents and businesses. And it means anybody can drop their garbage off at any time. And we'll also then it'll be collected, the garbage will be collected through a crane type system on a regular basis. And so this should avoid, and there'll also be video surveillance. So there should be far less graffiti. There should be fewer problems with someone trying to gain access to the bin because these in-ground Molyneux, if you try and access it, well, it's virtually impossible. And so I think it'll be very successful. Plus that will mimic what you're going to see in the reconstructed Colborne and Dalhousie streets in several years. I've talked to several businesses downtown who expressed some concern, but once I explained to them this drop-off bin system, they seemed more accepting, especially since they won't be tied to a drop-off time of being very early in the morning. They'll be able to take the garbage from their business to this drop-off location downtown at any time. So it's actually very convenient. I hope the end result will be that you'll see less garbage being put out on the street early in the morning for pickup. And I thank staff for taking into account the concerns that were raised after the Cal meeting and coming up with, I think, some pretty good solution.
Thank you. Anybody else to the amendment? Councilor McCreary?
Chair, thank you very much. Through you to staff. Do we know what the ongoing maintenance cost will be for this change to the initial resolution?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the cost would be within the same budget that was initially considered at the committee of the whole meeting. So the operating cost we put in there was 30,000, I believe. So it would be within the same budget.
Thank you, Selby.
Any other questions with regards? Seeing none, take the vote.
The amendment to item 12.111 carries unanimously and recorded a vote of 10-0. Members of council voting in favor, Councillors Sullivan, Sless, McCreary, Hunt, and Tilburg, Samwell, Martin, Caputo, Sokoli, and Mayor Davis.
Any discussion to the amended motion now? Call the vote.
12-111 as amended carries unanimously on a recorded vote. Members of council voting in favor are as follows: Councilors Van Tilburg, Samuel, Hunt, McCreary, Martin, Celeste, Caputo, Sullivan, Sokoli, and Mayor Davis.
Mayor Davis, you have the chair.
Thank you very much for doing that, Councillor Sullivan. So we'll now move to 12.2.1. This is the appointment of members of council of various committees, task forces, and boards separated because of the conflict Councillor Sokoli has. Any discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Item 12.2.1, noting Councillor Sokoli's conflict, carries unanimously and recorded vote of 9-0. Members of council voting in favor: Councillors Sullivan, Celeste, McCreary, Hunt, Van Tilburg, Samuel, Martin, Caputo, and Mayor Davis.
Then the third and final item that was separated is 12.6.1, the review of Chapter 327, taxi cab licensing and other vehicles for hire. I believe Councillor McCreary, you have an amendment.
You are correct, Mayor. And I will move it as soon as I see it on the screen. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. Councillor Martin will be the seconder. Thank you, Chris. The amendment is as follows. The clause C be amended to read as follows. The staff conduct a campaign to educate stakeholders on the proposed requirements to be in effect for July 1, 2024. And this is in response to a request from the industry to step ahead our schedule a bit, to begin to more equitably level the playing field with the Uber type transportation alternatives. Hope everybody would be supporting this.
Any further discussion? Seeing none? Oops. Okay, we'll start with Councillor Hunt, then Councillor Scully.
Thank you. And so through you to staff, I understood that there was some areas that we could implement as early as potentially July 1st of 2024, but there were other components of the bylaw that would not be able to be done that quickly. Can you just speak to that? Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Through Mayor Davis, to Councillor Hunt, Jill Binkley, the Supervisor of Licensing. That is correct. So we've been able to move up the taxi components. We'll start with those. We have an established process for those. And then we will follow that up by implementing the TNC regulations. So July 1st will be the start where everything is enacted. And then we'll work on the programming for TNCs once we have the taxis in place.
Thank you, Joe.
Councillor Scully.
So that might have just answered my question, but I was just gonna ask, is that enough time for the Ubers? I don't know if I'm allowed to say their brand name, but is that enough time for Uber to implement? But it sounds like this is just implementing the processes for the taxis, correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Sokoli, yes, absolutely. So what we've tried to do is really cut it into chunks or cut it into pieces of, what is achievable. So again, we're going to start with the taxis. And then when we have the legislation in place, effective July 1st, we'll be able to market our communications to the rideshare companies and get in contact with account managers and so on. Right now, we've been working with our policy and legal people, but to really dive down into what the account management side will look like and how we can make it as easy as possible to keep in touch and keep sharing information.
Perfect, thank you.
So seeing no further discussion, I'll take the vote.
The amendment to item 12.6.1 carries unanimously on a recorded vote. Members of council voting in favor: Councillors Sullivan, Celeste, McCreary, Hunt, Van Tilburg, Samuel, Martin, Caputo, Sokoli, and Mayor Davis.
So we have no urgent. Yes, as amended. So any discussion as amended? Seeing none. Vote on it.
Item 12.6.1 as amended carries unanimously in recorded vote. Members of council voting in favor: Councillors Van Tilburg, Samuel, Hunt, McCreary, Martin, Celeste, Caputo, Sullivan, Sokoli, and Mayor Davis.
All right, so we have no urgent reports with one resolution. I believe Councillor Martin, you have that motion. If you please read and state your seconder.
Yes, I move, seconded by Councillor McCurry, that council ratify the settlement reached between the corporation of the city of Brantford and the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, IATSE, Local 129, for renewal of the collective agreement to cover the period from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2027.
Any discussion? Seeing none, don't take the vote.
The resolution from the special city and camera meeting held March 19th carries unanimously and recorded vote of 10-0. Members of council voting in favor, Councillors Sullivan, Celeste McCurry, Hartman Toborg, Samuel, Martin, Caputo, and Sokoli.
So we have two notices of motion for us this evening, and Councillor McCurry, if you'd read the title of the first notice of motion.
I shall indeed, Mayor. The title is Resolutions Initiated by Notice of Motions.
I'll read the title of the second notice of motion, which actually, when it comes to committee of the whole, may be moved by Councillor Carpenter, but the title is Condominium Conversion Policy. So the next motion, notice of motion deadlines, Thursday, April the 25th, 2024 at 9 a.m. So we'll move now to bylaws. And Councillor Sullivan, if you'd read the motion for first and second reading of the bylaws.
Absolutely. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Sokoli, that leave be given to the mover and seconder to introduce the following bylaws for first and second reading. Bylaw 30, 2024, being a bylaw to appoint members of council to various committees, task force, boards, appointment committee report 2024-0305. 31, 2024, being a bylaw to amend to bylaw 70, 2010 to repeal and replace finance policy 02, budget items balanced by reserve funds, and to add finance policy 018, development front-end funding and reimbursement policy 2024-124, committee of the whole operations report 2024-0306. 32, 2024, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 021, 2024, being a bylaw to fix fees and charges to be collected by the corporation of the city of Brantford for the 2024 to 2027 committee of the whole operations report 2024-0306. 33, 2024, to amend parking bylaw 14488, being a bylaw to regulate parking in the city of Brantford, committee of the whole operations report 2024-0306. 34, 2024, being a bylaw to adopt amendment number 10 to the City of Brantford official plan, envisioning our city 2051, 2024-74 Planning Committee Report 2024-0307. 35, 2024, bylaw to amend bylaw number 160-90, being a bylaw to regulate the use of lands and the location of use of buildings and structures in the city of Brantford, 2024-74, Planning Committee Report 2024-0307. 36, 2024, being a bylaw to declare and dedicate part of Block A between the Clench, Kerr, and Phelps tracks, City of Brantford being Part 1 and Part 2 on the reference plan 2R 8978, City of Brantford being part of PIN 32068 3215 LT as part of the public highway to be known as Giuseppe Drive 2024-104 Planning Committee Report 2024-0307. 37, 2024, being a bylaw to amend Chapter 326, Schedule A11 of the City of Brantford Municipal Code 2024-194, Committee of the Whole Planning and Administration Report 2024-0319. 38, 2024, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 120-2022, being a bylaw to delegate to city staff the authority to approve and execute all documents individually listed as Schedules A through F in the city of Brantford, and to amend bylaw 70, 2010, being a bylaw to adopt various city of Brantford policies and to create corporate policy manual 2024-98, Committee of the Whole Planning Administration Report 2024-0319, and 39, 2024, bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the City, Corporation of the City of Brantford with respect to the meeting held on March 26, 2024, and 40/2024 being a bylaw to appoint members of citizen and liaison to various committees, task force, and boards. Appointments Committee Report 2024-0305.
All right, we'll take bylaw 30/2024 first. That's the bylaw that Councillor Scully declared the conflict on. And I assume nobody wants to discuss that. So, Mr. Clerk, please take the vote on first, second reading.
The first and second reading of bylaw 30/2024, noting Councillor Sokoli's conflict, carries unanimously and recorded vote of 9-0. Members of council voting in favor, Councillors Sullivan, Sless, McCreary, Hunt, Van Tilburg, Samuel, Martin, Caputo, and Mayor Davis.
Does anybody wish any of the other bylaws separated for discussion purposes at first and second reading? Seeing no raised hands, Mr. Clerk, would you please take the vote?
All bylaws for first and second reading carries unanimously and a recorded vote. Members of council voting in favor, Councillors Van Tilburg, Samuel, Hunt, McCreary, Martin, Sless, Caputo, Sullivan, Sokoli, and Mayor Davis.
All right, Councillor Van Tilburg, if you please read the resolution for third reading.
Moved by myself, seconded by my ward mate, Counselor Samwell, that all bylaws have received first and second reading be taken and read as a third time and be finally passed and signed by the mayor and clerk.
So again, we'll take 30/2024 first because of the conflict.
The third and final reading of bylaw 30/2024 carries unanimously and a recorded vote, noting Councillor Sokoli's conflict. Members of council voting in favor, Councillors Sullivan, Sless, McCreary, Hunt, Van Tilburg, Samuel, Martin, Caputo, and Mayor Davis.
All right, assuming nobody wants anything else separated for discussion purposes at third reading, I'll ask the clerk to take the vote.
The third and final vote of all bylaws that are remaining carries unanimously in a recorded vote. Members of council voting in favor, Councillors Van Tilburg, Samuel, Hunt, McCreary, Martin, Sless, Caputo, Sullivan, Sokoli, and Mayor Davis.
All right, we'll proceed to the signing of bylaws before we adjourn, and we'll start with ward announcements. Councillor Van Tilburg. Councillor Samuel.
Thank you. So really, I just have the one item tonight, and that is the Eagle Place Community Association is pleased to announce that they're holding the second session of their Art Escape program that's been very successful. It's for ages 12 and above. It's a free program being held at Doug Snooks Community Center on Tuesday evenings. The upcoming dates are April 23rd, May 7th, May 28th, June 11th. At Doug Snooks Community Center, as I said, and you can find out more information by emailing them or checking out their Facebook page. And happy Easter to everyone.
Councillor Hunt.
Yes, I would like to congratulate the Brandland Neighborhood Association on wrapping up their year-end volleyball league with a tournament and banquet on the 13th of April. We have 26 teams that participate, and this league was initially started by my predecessor, Councillor Antosky. Going on along with the same vein, I'd like to thank all the volunteers in recognition of Volunteer Appreciation Week. Would also encourage all volunteers for the city to attend the Volunteer Appreciation event being held at the Sanderson Center on April 15th. The entertainment, Summer of '69, was very good. They were the headlining entertainment for New Year's Eve. And my regrets that I will not be able to join you, but my last announcement is that I will be away on the 15th of April celebrating our 35th wedding anniversary.
Well, congratulations in advance. Councillor Sless.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple. This coming Wednesday, April 3rd at 6 o'clock at the Polish Hall, Councillor Caputo and myself will be attending a meeting where the developer will be presenting to the public the redevelopment of 40 Richmond Street. So I'd encourage folks in that neighborhood to do the best they can to get out next Wednesday at 6 at the Polish Hall at 154 Albion to hear about and question and make suggestions on the development at 40 Richmond Street. And secondly, on Sunday, I was listening to the Bulldogs broadcast on the Bulldog Audio Network, and I think the announcer coined the phrase, I think, that should stick. I thought it was excellent, referring to the Civic Center, and it's called the Loud House on Market. And I thought that's a great name for nickname, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But I think it's a good way to identify where our Junior A team plays, and that's the Loud House on Market. And I think it certainly lives up to its name, and probably be even louder this Friday. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Caputo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a meeting in City Hall here last night with the residents of Brant Station about the new Robert Moore Park that's going to be up and going by 2025. So it was very positive and certainly had some input from all the residents. We met, Councillor Sless and I met a week ago with the residents that live on Paris Paris Road between 403 and Hardy Road about traffic and speeding control. And again, a very, very good meeting and a lot of input, and hopefully we can get that rectified as well. And finally, the Glenhurst currently has the exhibit Power of the Feathers featuring Six Nations artist Arnold Jacobs. So with that, go Dogs, go.
Councillor McCreary.
Mayor, thank you very much. We have 2 road construction projects coming up, hopefully starting beginning of summer in the beautiful 3rd Ward. Some may say it's the most beautiful ward in town, but I wouldn't brag. Staff are indicating that if you're planning improvements in the vicinity of the front of your property, close to the road resurfacing projects, you may want to get in touch with City Hall and see what sort of cooperation we can extend as you do those things, and better not to embark upon it just before we do the work. This week, we have been conducting interviews to fill positions on the board of directors of our municipal service corporation that will govern and administer the municipal accommodation tax. And we look forward to populating that committee before the end of April and striking our legal standing as a municipal service corporation. And as has been mentioned before, the Bulldogs are before us Friday night, Saturday night here, the first time ever playoff round for the Bulldogs. First ever time the Bulldogs will be playing playoffs in the city of Brantford. Cheer them on if you can get a ticket. Good luck in that because it's hugely popular. And perhaps once we build a new arena, there'll be more tickets to be had.
Indeed. Councillor Martin.
Thank you. Earlier we dedicated Gillespie Drive, item 1252. I got to know Mr. Gillespie. He has a nickname Doc through playing bridge. He was a true gentleman and a World War II vet, which is how his name got honored on the street. And I just wanted to mention that because he was a very, a true gentleman, as I said earlier. And also a reminder to everybody that the solar eclipse is going to happen on April 8th around 3:30 in the afternoon. Parents especially, make sure if your children are going to witness it, that they have the proper solar glasses to witness the eclipse so they don't do damage to their eyes. And if you're unfortunate enough that you were unable to get solar glasses, there are other ways to view it safely. Pinhole camera is one way to do it. But you can probably find various ways online to safely view the solar eclipse. We don't want anybody suffering any eye damage because of it. And with that, happy Easter, everyone.
Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. One, KTI, the contractor putting in our smart meters in Ward 1, are continuing along their way through your neighborhood. So if you get a flyer, please reach out to them and schedule your upgrade. Secondly, the Rope Factory in Ward 1 will be hosting The away games on a 16-foot by 9-foot screen, free entry. So those dates are Tuesday, April 2nd and Thursday, April 4th of next week. That's it.
Lastly, Counselor Secoli.
Last but not least, right? That's what you meant? Okay.
No, I said last.
The West Branch Neighborhood Association is hosting their AGM coming up on April 4th next week. That'll be hosted at Generations Church on Balfour at 6 p.m. Counselor Sullivan and I are also, we have a Let's Talk Brantford campaign out there right now. So if you visit letstalkbrantford.ca, you'll see the proposed traffic plan for West Branch. So you have an opportunity to go on there between now and April 8th and input your feedback and leave some comments so that we can make sure that we get this right. So do take advantage of that. Lastly, I just want to acknowledge that last week we had our first ever Women in Governance discussion panel, and not to be, I may be biased, but I think it was pretty awesome. It was a very candid discussion, and I want to take a moment and just thank some staff. We have some amazing women who put this on. So Maria Visaki, Heather Carvello, and Sasha Smith-Hill really put in a lot of work behind the scenes to execute this awesome discussion panel. So thank you so much for all of the hard work that went on in putting that on. And happy Easter, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, happy Easter, everybody, and go Dogs, go. We're adjourned.